We will come to the first item of business, which is a debate on motion 5978 in the name of Sarah Boyack on climate change. Shirley-Anne Somerville, followed by Malcolm Chisholm.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. The Climate Change Act 2009 represents the substantial foundations for this country's contribution to the collective international battle against climate change. And yet preparing those foundations was in many respects the easy part. The hard part is now building upon that powerful start by taking the tough decisions that will deliver on our targets, and the report from the UK Committee on Climate Change leaves no doubt as to how tough this will be. The Act was passed unanimously by this Parliament in June last year, the same month in which the Scottish Government published its Climate Change Delivery Plan. That plan was, of course, prepared as a precursor to the more detailed statutory report on proposals and policies to be produced this year, and that will set out how Scotland will achieve our annual targets. This will, of course, take full account of the passing of the Act and the UK Committee on Climate Change's recent report, as the motion demands. The motion also draws specific attention to the field of transport and, in particular, low-carbon vehicles. This point has already been made in the Government's initial delivery plan, which accepts that almost complete decarbonisation of road transport is needed by 2050, with significant progress by 2030 through the wholesale adoption of electric cars and vans. I'm afraid we're all tight for time, so I'm afraid I won't today, Lord Spooks. Against that background, it is of course appropriate that the Government plans a programme so that its fleet does compromise only low-carbon or electric vehicles. But that must also be combined with the development of the infrastructure required to support the use of plug-in hybrid and electric vehicles across Scotland, a step which would make the decarbonisation of the Government fleet significantly easier, and something which again is already included in the first delivery plan. And while it is important for the Scottish Government to lead from the front and change its total fleet of 209 vehicles to low-carbon vehicles, it is difficult to resist the temptation to compare it to the carbon reduction that could have been saved had the UK Government committed to the high-speed rail link all the way to Scotland last week, rather than it hitting the buffers in Birmingham. And with regards to the wider public sector fleet, work has already begun with the Government issuing a consultation on low-carbon vehicles very shortly after passing the Climate Change Act. This included the proposal of 100% LCV use in the public sector by 2020. What a shame that that vision was not shared by Labour's colleagues in administration at South Lanarkshire Council, who said that the update of electric vehicles should be 20+ years away, or indeed Glasgow City Council, who in their response urged a less ambitious target to be set. Presiding Officer, the motion also calls upon a programme to enable the public and businesses to make the practical changes required to meet our targets. No one can disagree with that, but unfortunately time does not permit for anything approaching a detailed discussion of the work already going on to do exactly that, whether it's the Climate Challenge Fund, the Energy Assistance Package, to name but two of the many projects already involved. And the motion is right also to highlight the economic opportunities to be gained from investment in low-carbon technologies. That is why the Scottish Government is helping to facilitate such investment, for example with the decision on Bewley to Denny or the £10 million Saltire Prize. Again, just two examples of the work already underway. So on top of the foundation laid by the Climate Change Act, the first bricks have been laid. There is, of course, much more work to be done, and we all agree on that. And that's why I look forward to the Government publishing its statutory report on proposals and policies later this year.